want to call it a different kind of video, but I wanted to fully show you some of the responses to the WNBA CBA saga and show you at this point the Players Union absolutely has a PR nightmare on its hands. And why am I saying that? Because the fans are out on supporting the players. They are out. You've got a fraction of fandoms out there that this has become some kind of a social statement or social movement. And it's kind of like the fans they interviewed as the league was blowing up, and they said, yeah, the old fans said, yeah, we miss going to the stadiums and then being able to go hang out with the players at the bar after the game, but we can't do that.
And that news just broke this morning. I'm not sure what this proves because, what if the league made 25 million profit? I mean, are we here to consider that to be good? What if they made 50 million profit? I still don't consider. I mean, when you consider what most other sports are making, are we to consider that to have been good? Because they get a revenue share, it's my understanding, after expenses get paid. So it's like a net revenue share. And the players finally got it. The players finally got it again under the current CBA. The first time in history that WNBA generated enough income in 2025 to trigger revenue sharing with its players. Union leadership told ESPN on Sunday, I still don't understand how this is a public relations win for the players because the players have been telling us they're broke. So now we're finding out. And by the way, the players got a significant portion out of their players' union licensing agreement too. Between both figures, it was actually 17, like 25 million to split up. So the players haven't been as broke as they've let on.
Backing the owners at this point. Annie Constable put this post up to her article, which I did a video on yesterday. And I wanted to look at some of the responses. Because I got to tell you, fans are either on the player's side, or they're fed up with all this, or all the above. I got to tell you. Come on. It should be 15% net revenue. I thought that's the highest the owners were offering. The league has never made any money. The players should sign now. They got some housing back. They are looking very greedy. That is the takeaway. That is the takeaway. The players need to understand they are employees of a league that never...
What you are about to hear in this video is something the WNBA did not want public. Ramona Shelburne, one of the most respected journalists in professional basketball, has revealed what may be one of the most serious developments in the history of women's basketball. The moment this story surfaced, the reaction across the league was immediate and intense. Players are upset, owners are regrouping, and league officials are holding urgent meetings. The 2026 WNBA season, a year fans around the world have been eagerly anticipating, is now facing deep uncertainty. This is the celeb brief, and this is the story that could change everything. Before we examine the full details of what has been exposed, we must understand who Ramona Shelburne is and why this report carries such weight. She is not an ordinary reporter. She is one of the most connected and trusted voices in basketball. When Shelburne publishes a story, team owners, players, and league officials pay close and serious attention. She has spent decades building trusted relationships that give her access to information few others can reach. Shelburne has broken some of the most important stories in both the NBA and the WNBA. She has reliable sources throughout the sport, from locker rooms to executive offices. She does not release information unless it is carefully verified and accurate. So when Ramona Shelburne says she has uncovered a troubling issue inside the WNBA, the entire basketball world listens. And what she has revealed this time has stunned even longtime insiders. To fully understand the magnitude of this moment, we must look at where the WNBA stood before this report emerged. The league has been navigating one of the most challenging periods in its history. CBA negotiations between players and owners had already become one of the most intense disputes women's basketball has experienced. Players were calling for fair pay, improved working conditions, and a meaningful share of the league's growing revenue since Caitlin Clark arrived and transformed national interest in the sport. On the surface, it appeared to be a standard business disagreement. Both sides spoke publicly about wanting fairness and progress. Both presented themselves as professional and reasonable. But privately, tensions had escalated to levels insiders described as deeply concerning for the future of the league. It was within this already fragile atmosphere that Ramona Shelburne began investigating issues the WNBA would have preferred remain private. And that is when the situation intensified. What Shelburne uncovered goes far beyond a simple financial dispute. Her reporting describes patterns of decisions at the highest levels of the league that left players feeling deeply disappointed and betrayed. Publicly, players were assured that the league was committed to growth, fairness, and a stronger future for women's basketball. Yet behind closed doors, certain actions reportedly contradicted those public statements. Meetings were held quietly. Understandings that players believed were secure were allegedly altered without clear communication. Financial structures presented as transparent appeared different once fully examined. The players who learned of these developments felt both devastated and angered. These are athletes who have dedicated their lives to the game, athletes who made sacrifices to compete at the highest level, athletes who trusted league leadership to act with honesty and integrity. Shelburne's reporting has raised serious questions about whether that trust was honored. The response from WNBA players since the story was published has been unprecedented. Players who usually remain reserved about internal matters have spoken openly about their frustration and disappointment. There is a powerful sense of unity inside locker rooms across the league. Prominent stars with significant platforms have amplified the concerns and called for clear answers and accountability. Support among players has been unified and resolute. Regardless of team or background, they understand that the situation affects every player. Their message to ownership is direct. This cannot be dismissed quietly. The reaction from ownership has also drawn attention. Some have publicly questioned aspects of the report. Others have remained silent. A few have challenged Shelburne's sources, a strategy that rarely succeeds given her long-standing credibility. Behind the scenes, reports describe emergency discussions, crisis management planning, and legal reviews. Ownership groups now face scrutiny they may not have anticipated. The timing could not be more difficult. The 2026 season was expected to be the most exciting in league history. Caitlin Clark enters her second season as one of the most talked-about athletes in the sport. The Indiana Fever have built tremendous excitement around her. Broadcast partners have invested heavily. Sponsors have committed substantial resources. Now uncertainty surrounds it all. Players have begun discussing collective action if meaningful responses are not delivered. The word strike, once unthinkable, is now being mentioned in serious conversations. If no resolution is reached, the 2026 season could face delays or disruption, a devastating outcome at a moment of historic growth. It is impossible to discuss this story without acknowledging Caitlin Clark's role in the league's recent expansion. Her arrival drew millions of new fans. Revenue increased dramatically. The issues raised now prompt difficult questions about whether the players who generated that growth, including Clark, are being treated equitably. Clark has remained measured in her public comments, but those close to her say she is attentive and deeply invested in fairness for all players. At its core, this is not only a business matter. It is about respect and recognition for the athletes who built the WNBA, and that is a question every player deserves answered with clarity. So where does the league move from here? At this moment, no one can say with certainty. What is clear is that the path forward has changed. The information is public. Players understand the full scope. Fans are watching closely. League leadership must now decide how to respond in a way that restores trust and stability. In the most hopeful scenario, this exposure leads to renewed negotiations grounded in transparency and fairness. In the most concerning scenario, divisions deepen, making agreement before the 2026 season increasingly difficult. Either way, the WNBA stands at a defining crossroads. Ramona Shelburne fulfilled her role as a journalist. She pursued the facts, verified them, and shared them with the public. The impact has been immediate and lasting. What comes next rests with the players' ownership and league leadership. The athletes have shown unity and resolve. Fans are waiting for answers. And the 2026 season, once expected to be historic for all the right reasons, now depends on how quickly and honestly those answers arrive. This is the Celeb Brief. If you found this video valuable, please press the like button and subscribe with notifications turned on so you never miss our coverage of the most important stories in sports and culture. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe the WNBA ownership will respond appropriately after what Ramona Shelburne reported? I truly want to hear your perspective. Until next time, take care, and we will see you in the next update.